pajamas on, it's all warm and cozy up here. Maybe some of you guys are thinking, wow, I should have done my speech on comfort so I could have presented in pajamas, right? Please say yes. Yes. Thank you. I'm actually super uncomfortable. I hate this. This feels like some sort of stress fever dream where I got to my public speaking, speech practice, speech competition. I just make the bus and I look down and instead of my suit, I'm wearing pajamas. So I'm gonna make myself a little more comfortable and go back to what I would like to be in.
Oh yeah!
Comfort is relative. Hopefully some of you thought that was a smart move. If you didn't think it was a smart move, maybe you have a comfort zone more relative to mine. But all of us have had different experiences that lead us to have different ways of viewing the world around us and what we're comfortable with. In our current climate of constant self-growth, we are being ever pushed to become better. Push, 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 grind, grind, grind until you're the very best and no one is better than you. But here's the problem. We can't all be the best. Some of us are just going to be pretty good, and that's fine. But the way that our society has been acting and the way we are in our current life, it seems like it's not good enough. We've lost our ability to be comfortable. There is a duality to comfort. That is the demand to disregard it in pursuit of growth and the duty we have to protect ourselves in the process. So, a comfort zone is something that we've all heard of. It's a classic cliche that can be traced back to a 1908 study where Robert M. Yerkes and John D. Dodson explained that in order to maximize performance, we need a state of relative anxiety, a space where our stress levels are slightly higher than normal. As you can see, here's you in your little comfort zone. Outside is anxiety, bad, except for relative anxiety is good because it forces us to learn and adapt to our situations. Pushing yourself is good. I think this is something that you all know. I don't have to hammer this into you too well. You push yourself, you step out, you learn from it, and everything is pretty good. We're in a place where we're all stepping out of our comfort zones so much every single day, and the decisions we make, we're all choosing what we're going to do in the next steps and the next chapters of our lives. So it's very relevant to all of us right now that there's a lot changing and we're all just kind of having to roll with the punches. I myself have been pushed out of my comfort zone a lot recently. Some of you may have noticed that I joined band this year. You might have asked, why is that? Why would she do that? She's never done band before. But I've decided I want to do music education, and it made sense that I should probably know what band is like. So I pushed myself to join the band, and the first week was kind of the worst. I was so stressed out and worried. Everyone's like, it's literally just band, Elizabeth. Nobody cares. Nobody cares what happens here. And I'm like, what if I play that cymbal wrong? But I have grown from it, and I have really pushed myself. If any of you remember from last year, we did that whole thing with the Forge. There was a story about me pushing myself to be involved at VCSU. That was a spooky time. I don't know if you've read that. I'm not plugging it. I don't encourage you to read it. But if you have, that's a fun little thing to remember. All right. Along with comfort comes one of those buzzwords that we all know, self-care. Now, self-care is often just thrown out as a word for treating yourself. Go on Amazon, buy something, have a spa day, eat some chocolate. Self-care, except for it's not what that is. That's really killed our perception of how to take care of ourselves. And because it's such a joke, we find ourselves burning out more and more every single day. We push ourselves farther and farther out until we can't push ourselves anymore, and then we're just done. And you stay burnt out for minutes, for days, for weeks, for an unknown period of time until you finally recover. Hubert Freudberger coined the term burnout in his 1972 book Burnout, the high cost of high achievement as the extinction of motivation or incentive, especially where one's devotion to a cause or relationship fails to produce the desired results. So as you can see, self-care, real self-care, is knowing your limits and knowing how far you can push yourself out of your comfort zone. So now we need to learn to balance the two. The key is finding and protecting your threshold of growth. The author James Clear calls this the Goldilocks rule. The Goldilocks rule states that humans experience peak motivation when working on tasks that are right on the edge of their current abilities. This is, oh, it's really hard to read, sorry everyone. That says comfort zone if you can't read it. This is basically a new, better version of that concept of relative anxiety that we went over earlier. So instead of just pushing yourself as far as you can go in every direction, you just dip out a little bit and you learn and you come back to where you're comfortable and where you're safe. Because you've earned your comfort zone. You deserve to be comfortable. Personal growth is pushing the walls of that comfort zone. You have built that for yourself and you deserve to enjoy it. Sure, you need to step out and keep widening it, but you have created that for yourself to enjoy. One thing I noticed when I submitted my topic and I got some peer reviews and suggestions from all of you, a lot of the suggestions were, tell us how you've grown, how have you pushed yourself, how can we grow? I didn't get a single suggestion about how can I make myself comfortable, how can I protect myself. I didn't have a single person ask about that, and that really scares me because that's a whole 50% of my presentation, and nobody cares about caring about themselves. They only want to know how they can do better, and maybe you should be worrying instead about how you can feel better. So I thankfully, in my experiences of pushing myself out of my comfort zone, I haven't pushed myself too far, but I've gotten close. Like that one story I mentioned in the Forge, that one is one of them where I pushed myself a little bit too far too fast and I started to break down a little bit, if you have read that. Basically, I got really close to quitting several times, but something kept going and I kept pushing the walls of my comfort zone until the comfort zone caught up with me and I was okay. But that's not always the case. Sometimes the walls don't keep up with you and you just need to make sure that you're comfortable. So in conclusion, you've created this comfort zone for yourself. It's not necessarily an evil to stay within it. You deserve to be comfortable, and if there's something super far out that you need to do, you can just keep pushing your walls until it's just within your grasp. We're all getting more comfortable with doing things, and you never know. Maybe next time I'm up on the stage, you'll see me in my pajamas.